Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. And in this video I wanted to talk about narcissists, meals, food and body image. So this video is going to be a bit more personal. As you guys know, if you've watched any videos with me before, I do have a family who display a lot of narcissistic qualities. They're very difficult. And I am training to be a psychologist, but I'm not there yet. So what I'm saying in this video is definitely my opinion and my experience. So I think one of the things of growing up with narcissists is, well, especially when you're the scapegoat, nothing is good enough for them. Nothing is good enough. And they have an opinion and they judge everything and everybody. And one of the things that my family were very negative about was how people look. And the one thing that my family thought that they could judge everybody on was people's weight, people's size. Oh my goodness. If they, especially larger people, was so negative. Anybody who was heavier was just lazy, fat, unworthy and bad on some level. It was just such a negative way of judging people. And I also think that that's something that we do a lot in our culture in general, and it's just not okay. And it is just so wrong. But one thing I found as I was growing up was I want to say I was a chubby kid. Was I? I was a chubby kid. Kids are chubby. That happens. I was never super big. But my whole life I felt like I've always felt that I was too big and too heavy. And I know if you're watching this video, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for anybody to tell me how I look or how I don't look. I know that I'm a healthy weight and that I look okay. I'm just kind of normal. And so I'm not looking for comments or anyone to buoy up my ego. But I have felt my whole life that it would just be a little bit better if I was a bit thinner. And I think that this is something that women often deal with as well because of media and the current fashion that is to be slim. So it's not just unique to narcissistic families at all. But in a dialogue, my thought process is definitely all stems back to these little voices I get in my head of like, do you really think you need to eat that? Or just always wanting to look different, always wanting to just be a little bit slimmer, to just be a little bit thinner. And that's really sad. It's a really, really sad way of living, especially when I look back and I see myself as a kid and I see the photos. I'm like, I was just this happy little kid, and yet I was just always judged and made to feel bad about how I looked. And it breaks my heart. And the fact is that here I am now in my mid-40s, and my default thinking is, and I notice it now, is when I have a bad day, when my mood's down, I will look at myself. I was almost like I look at myself in the mirror and I try and find the thing that's wrong with me, the thing that I don't like. And I have my little triggers and I'm like, yeah, I'm having a bad day and this part of me looks fat. And I don't know what it is. Is it like a self-fulfilling prophecy? I feel bad and so I kind of poke the wound? Or is it because I'm so used to being down on myself that that's what I do when I feel bad? And if it was just that, then, to be honest, that's bad enough as it is. Not having a healthy, positive voice inside me that said, hey, you're beautiful, you look great just the way you are. it's a shame that I'm not that friend to myself that I want to be, and I'm trying to be. I think, though, what's even harder, though, is that when we have patterns where we say, okay, I'm not happy with how I look and I'm going to punish myself. I'm either going to overeat or I'm going to undereat. I'm going to use my emotions and my body image to try and cope with how I feel emotionally. And it's really, really hard when we do that, because we are using our emotions and our mental state to not give our bodies what we need. And that can lead to physical problems. And that is, again, where the mental harm that we can have from narcissistic and abusive relationships can start to manifest itself physically in our bodies. And I think it's really important for us to realize that that can happen, and to try and intervene, and hopefully, if that's something that you are struggling with, get some professional help to make sure that we aren't physically harming ourselves because of the dialogues that we have in our heads, which have come from unhealthy people. And related to the kind of body image and eating is anxiety I feel around mealtimes. And I realize this now, and realizing things is the first stage, I think, to trying to change them. But mealtimes, family meals for me were really, really difficult. And I think there are a few reasons. So being in this very controlling, dysfunctional family, meal times were kind of like a sacred time in my family, where good families eat together. Good families don't sit around and watch television. They have meals together and they talk about their day and they share things. So first of all, that was a really horrible time for me, because it was kind of like, the let's get down on chairs, let's be mean to her. It was the time when I had to sit down and talk to my family, and I did not want to because they were mean and it wasn't fun for me. So the whole sitting down with my family was really a really anxious time for me, first of all. And it was also not a situation, they had all these rules about meals, and you could not get up and leave before everybody was finished. So I would be stuck and I would have to sit down with them. I couldn't excuse myself. There was no way. And the other thing was, I had to eat what I was given. If I didn't eat what was on my plate, I was fussy, I was ungrateful. There were starving children in third world countries who would be grateful for your food, and you're just an ungrateful, horrible person, Jess. And you will sit there and you will eat it, or there will be consequences. And I hated it. I just hated it. I wasn't allowed any preferences. I wasn't allowed to not like things. I had to eat everything that I was given. And I get it, some kids, you have to encourage kids to eat certain things, and we all have to try new things. But when you get to a point, and I'm going to say this from experience, when you're in your 30s and it's still happening and you're still told that you will eat your sprouts because you're a bad person if you don't, I realized that it was unhealthy, and to not allow people choice and to make meal times so stressful, where there would be tears, where I remember crying so hard that I wanted to throw up. That is not a healthy way of encouraging children to try new foods. Oh gosh. No. And when I also think about the ridiculousness of it all, I would be teased and shamed and commented on so often because I was this chubby kid. And again, I wasn't big, I wasn't unhealthy, I wasn't overweight, but my family are naturally slimmer, and I wasn't. I was just a little bit bigger. and just to be then told on one hand, oh, you are a bit big, but then you sit down and you eat absolutely every single thing on your plate. It was so confusing for me, and I just didn't understand. And I had this turmoil of, well, I shouldn't eat, but I should eat, and I'm ungrateful if I don't, and I'm horrible, I'm selfish, and I'm fussy if I don't, but then I shouldn't eat so much because I'm too big. And it's really hard, and I am unsure to this day why I didn't have more problems with food than perhaps I have had. But I want to say, if you are in this situation where you are struggling with a difficult relationship with food, and it's on your mind, and it means you either don't eat what you need to eat, or you eat more than you need. There's lots of different ways that we abuse our relationships with food. And I think if you have got this difficult relationship, and also this difficult relationship with food, and these difficult relationships and difficult history in your life, realizing that there might be a link, I think, may help. And realizing that we aren't bad people because of what we eat or we don't eat. We might have some mental patterns that we want to improve, but we're good people, and it's okay. It's just okay to be who we are and to be where we are right now. And if you are having health problems because of food and eating patterns, there are a lot of people that can help with this, and seeking professional help is, I think, really important because of the ongoing health risks that can be associated with this. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. The way we look has no reflection on the person that we are. And it is not okay for people to judge us on that. Whether it's body shape, body size, hair color, skin color, it's not okay. None of that is okay. We are all worthy, wonderful people who are doing our best with the situations that we have. And yeah, maybe we've got some things that we're going to work on. Who doesn't? But it just might unfortunately be that the things that you want to work on are more visible to other people. Well, screw them. It's none of their damn business. And it's nobody else's business what we eat and what we don't eat. And it is not okay for people to control us with what we put in our bodies. It's not okay. It's nobody else's business what we eat. It's up to us. And we need to be really, really truthfully honest with ourselves if what we're doing and what we're eating isn't right for us. But if it is, then to be honest, screw everybody else. So please, my friends, please, if you are having these mental discussions with yourselves, and I'm going to put myself in the same category, let's just try and be aware of it. And no food in itself is good or bad. No person is good or bad depending on what they eat. We all deserve to be kind to ourselves and look after ourselves and our bodies. I hope this helps, and if you did find that it was a difficult video to watch, please, please, please look for support around this type of thing. And this goes for, I mentioned women, it goes for guys too. There are a lot of people who struggle with their relationships with food, and it doesn't matter your size, your gender, if you can see it or not. If it's causing problems for you, then please be kind to yourself and look after yourself. You deserve it. Sending as much support as I can to you over the waves. Thank you so much for being here, my friends, and I will look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now.